Hey guys, and welcome to another fantastic episode of Valley Views. This is season 3, episode 16, and I am your host, Amanda Joy Christensen. I'm so excited to say hello and bring you another fantastic interview episode from the most fabulous city in the world, Las Vegas. As many of you know, Mother's Day is just around the bend, and the interview today that I am sharing is on a mother, a survivor, a sister, an advocate, and a longtime community proud Nevadan leader, Patricia Marr. She is running for judge, and she is someone that I have recently connected with who has become someone that very quickly shared through her own life experiences, both personal and professional. She is shaped into someone who serves others and leads with strength, compassion, and purpose. So, as many of you know, I love on Valley Views to profile people here in Nevada and specifically to Las Vegas who are leaving their mark and making a legacy. Patricia is a longtime advocate here in the community, and I will be sharing a little more of her story as I always do. But I just want to start off by sharing a few moments on Mother's Day. Last episode, I launched an initiative called for Scarlet Magnolia, which will be my monthly meetup group for all women that have experienced some sort of pregnancy loss. And even if it's just the idea that you're never going to get married and meet the right person, so the idea of just having a family and that vision might just be something you want to grieve too. For Scarlet Magnolia is a place and a project that was born out of the loss of a 7.5 week old daughter I was carrying last year at this time that I didn't know about. It was a very big turning point in my own personal life where I realized that so much of what I thought would please a man in my life or the husband in my life or the professional people in my life always came before what was actually going to help and take care of me. And as being a people pleaser, I've always found a way to always say yes and deliver, even if that meant at the expense of my own health, dignity, or reputation. When I found myself sitting in Spring Valley Hospital having a life-saving surgery with a doctor I had barely met, it really brought to light how important it is for women to have safe spaces where they can grieve. Oftentimes in the professional world, we are told to hold our emotions back or not let that vulnerability out. But at what point are we just so desensitized to some of the human things that people go through when we're just expected to be programmed robots? Through my own career, I often found myself burning the candle at 15 ends, working 3 jobs and trying to prove to myself that being a college student with 3 jobs and a BMW was the status I needed to feel success. And ironically, it's often the hustle and the bustle and the trying to burn ourselves at 15 ends that get us to the point of burnt out, lying in a hospital bed, almost dead. Except in my case, it was a little different because I didn't even know I was pregnant. And when that moment happened, it also was a moment that was a life I lost. I almost lost my own, but I also walked out of that losing more than just the idea of what my life would be. As I walk into a life of co-parenting and single motherhood, and people judging me because I'm poor or I'm not the economic status I once was or could be, I realize that so much of what people do in life is based on ego. And the most beautiful thing I read, or maybe a rabbi told me, is ego is edging God out. When you edge God out and you only look to yourself and what you want, you really miss out on genuine connections and real opportunities. And sometimes those opportunities only come once. And if you're too closed-minded and your ego is so big, can't fit through the door, then you're really going to miss the opportunity that was meant to change your life. And so, as Patricia asked me to write about why she's running for judge, why people should know her, it was the conversation we had on raw parenting and what it's like to be a parent in a world that doesn't have the resources and tools for single mothers, that your back is against the wall financially when you have to leave situations of domestic violence where every penny you've made for the last 5 years has been poured into a marriage that financially bankrupt you spiritually, emotionally, and then physically. So many women go through this. And so many times I have stood alongside women and watched them silently battle while men or women in leadership or hierarchy said to hide the tears, hide the pain. Don't be so vulnerable. Don't let your drama show. But the truth is, it's not drama. Losing a child is a life-altering experience. Losing part of your reproductive system is a life-altering experience. Losing the idea of a family you once thought God was going to give you is a life-altering experience. And then nearly losing your life because the person you married is just so infuriated with their own choices that they made that their ego was just too big to see that if they just didn't edge God out of it and maybe put God in front of it all, none of it would have happened. I think about spiritually, so much of what I have learned through writing is to not listen to what anyone is telling me and to just go inward. Listen to what God is showing me. Write it out in my journal so I'm not offending anyone by being too raw or real. But it's through those raw, real, vulnerable moments that connections are made and that lives are changed. And Patricia came into my life in a season where I needed guidance, where I needed another professional woman to say, the assets that you are bringing to your family and the passion that you have for your city and the mark that you're leaving will be bigger. So don't give up. So without further ado, let me give you a fabulous interview on Valley Views today about Patricia Marr. She is running for judge. You can find her on Facebook under Patricia Marr for Judge, Instagram at Marr for Judge, or marforjudge.com. Marr is M-A-R-R, just for reference. Patricia was born and raised in Youngstown, Ohio, specifically in Boardman, and she moved to Las Vegas in 1985. It was her home ever since. This is where I've built my entire life, my career, and I raised my children. While I cherish my roots in Ohio, Las Vegas is the community that shaped who I am today. Her industry, background, and talents include she worked her way through the hospitality industry here in Las Vegas, which confirmed my values of hard work, communication, and treating people with dignity always. I worked ultimately, graduated from UNLV with a bachelor's in psychology, and then graduated again from the William S. Boyd School of Law in 2003, where I have begun practicing law in the community now for over 2 decades, with my primary focus in family law. It has been a privilege to work closely with families during some of the most important and difficult times in their lives. I find it very interesting because going through my own life experiences with situations that weren't even going to be considered, I always just thought I'd have a job and I'd get married and I'd have kids and it would all work out, right? But it's okay. Sometimes it doesn't. But what I loved about Patricia was she shared that when families go into courtrooms, so much of the blame is always on the parents and what the parents did wrong to each other, that the conversation about what is best for the children is always overlooked. And as someone who grew up in her own series of divorce and courtrooms and being a child in a police car at a young age because my parents didn't get along too, I humbly realized that repeating something just because you saw it as normal in your own life doesn't mean that it's going to solve a problem. And working in family law, a lot of times, Families fight because of financial issues. This is one of the hardest economic times for anyone to try to raise a family in. And if you don't have friends, if you don't have family, and you're just two humans with two babies trying to do it on your own, there's a lot more up against you than you'd realize. I always ask people, what led you to find the podcast? She said, I wanted to share on the podcast about after decades of practicing family law, that I have now made a decision to run for the family court judge in Department D. I'm announcing through my campaigns that this decision was not made lightly. Throughout my career, I have seen how deeply just judicial decisions can impact families. And I have also seen that what happens when those decisions are made without understanding the depth of the experience required for such important matters, it can really alter or damage the outcome of children. She says she believes family deserves judges who not only learn on the job, but one who brings real life experiences, practice understanding, and sound judgment every time they are on the bench. She said, this is the belief that has led me here today to run and to want to share on the podcast. No family should ever be placed in a position where their future is influenced either by a judge who's operating on a learning curve. I love that. Her take is judges should be there objectively. Every family deserves to have their point of view heard. Each case is unique. And sometimes it could just be people do fall in love and they do get married and they do believe that everything will work out. But then through series of tragic things and over time you realize that some people can change and grow and some people just stay where they're at. And that's okay too. And one of the best things about being a judge, I would think, especially for family court, is every family has a different why. Why they can't make it work, but why they can and why they should. And why it should be important for the kids' future. And putting aside how you feel as parents to look at objectively what's the safest and brightest plan so your kids become the brightest and best people in the world. That's the point. Those are the things that judges should care about. They shouldn't care about if mom and dad get along. They should care about how can we get mom and dad to get along so their children become productive and happy and functioning children in the world. Her personal take on hospitality in the world is it's all about making people feel seen and feel heard and respected. This lesson has carried me through every single stage of my life, whether I was working in hospitality or practicing law. No matter where I was in the world, people have always responded to the kindness, dignity, and respect that I showed them. And that is something I have seen through my world travels and something I bring into every interaction I have, particularly in the courtroom. What is a valley view or special voice or story you would like me to share? And this can be as little or as big as you'd like. Patricia shared, my perspective is shaped by both my professional experience and my personal life. I lost a 7-year-old son in 1992 to a driver under the influence just 1 week after losing my father. And that period of time in my life was devastating and forever changed me. I know firsthand that that kind of grief and hardship can truly destroy, but also be hard for a family to endure. I have been a single parent twice now, and I understand that there's an emotional and financial reality that many families face. Pardon me. You know, I cry sometimes on my show. It's just the first time I'm crying on a video. She's been a single parent twice, and she understands that there are emotional and financial realities that many families face, including the reality that most people do not have unlimited resources to navigate prolonged litigation. So, because of this, I bring a perspective to the bench that is grounded not only in law, but my real life experiences. My approach is guided by M.A.R.R, M-A-R-R, her last name. Merit, accountability, responsibility, and respect. M.A.R.R. She believes that the law must be always applied fairly and decisions must be made responsibly, and every individual must always be treated with the utmost dignity and respect. She is a proud parent who has raised her family here in Las Vegas, and that has been one of the most meaningful parts of her life. My experience as a parent has given me a deeper understanding of the challenges that families actually face and the importance of a thoughtful, fair decision when deciding decisions in family court. What is something unique and special about her life that has made her into the leader and the woman she is today? What makes Patricia so unique is the combination of her life experience, her professional background. She has lived through profound loss, raised a family, and built a career dedicated to helping other people navigate the most difficult life decisions. That perspective now allows her to approach every case with both legal knowledge and genuine understanding. I do not see cases, I see people. And she bolded it and underlined it, just so you know. I like to always share to those listening to Valley Views. If you're a business owner, a lot of people always ask, what do I do? How do I start? What's your advice? And Patricia's advice, if you want to launch your own business or you have one, her advice is, especially for anyone going through a difficult time, is take time to see things one day at a time. Life can feel so overwhelming, but you do not have to solve everything all at once. Take time to laugh when you can, because if you do not laugh, you cry. Find the small moments of light and know that that matters more than anyone realizes. Set goals for yourself and then focus on doing one thing each day that moves you closer to that goal. No matter how small the step may seem, progress is progress. Over time, your small steps add up and they carry you forward in ways you may not realize at the moment. Do you want to share a viewpoint on a very challenging obstacle you overcame? Losing my son and father were one of the most difficult times, and it tested my strength. This experience taught me resilience, perspective, and most of all, empathy. It reshaped how I saw the world and how I approached my work. I understand now that people come into courtrooms carrying burdens that we do not see and that most people do not understand or think matters, but it does. Since she's walked in the shoes that no one would ever want to wear, and she's walked alone, she still has continued her path. Storytelling and podcasting to her are powerful modern forms of media that have now allowed people to connect in the more authentic and meaningful way and give individuals unique opportunities to share their insights that might otherwise go unheard. My last question: what is the one thing you wish you could tell your younger self now as an adult? And she would say, I would tell my younger self to trust the journey. Life will not always go as planned, but even the most difficult experiences will shape your strength and your purpose. So stay resilient, keep moving forward, and never lose sight of who you are. I respectfully ask for your vote this November. Patricia Marr, Family Court, Department D. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at M.A.R.R, M-A-R-R for judge. Thank you so much, Patricia, one, for taking the time to share who you are and some of the most raw and authentic things that have shaped you into the resilient, powerful woman you are today. Walking into Mother's Day, I can say whether it's your angel babies or the ones you have here. And I met your daughter. She's beautiful. Keep going. And thank you for being a hummingbird in the season of my life where it's easier to judge me than to just walk alongside me and accept me for where I'm at. Because the financial burdens and the choices women have to make privately that alter the course of their family's outcome is a lot harder, especially in a world where men often overlook how beautiful it is that we women create life and we have the light inside of us to really unlock the potential in someone else. I wish everyone a beautiful, beautiful Mother's Day. I truly hope you all take time to get to know Miss Patricia Marr. I do know um, there's a handful of really interesting people I will be interviewing next with the Michelin star event that was just announced. I've had two chefs privately reach out to me to do some write-ups. They'll be coming to Vegas, and it was very weird because I had no idea that this was happening. And then I got two emails from people who are like, one guy's like, I'm coming into Vegas. I need to know about it. I'm a Michelin chef. And I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. So when I Googled what's happening and the excitement behind it, pretty great. But what's even more exciting is Valley Views, the outpour of love, the support that I've continued to receive for the show. It's now streaming in 50 countries globally, and it's also just leaving a mark way beyond Las Vegas. As May continues, I will continue to share on why mental health matters, why motherhood is by far one of the hardest and most brutal journeys. But most of all, I'm just happy to create this platform as a space where anyone can come, anyone can give a viewpoint, and it doesn't matter how you look on the outside because how we show up in the world is not always a reflection of who we really want to be. 1 year ago tomorrow was the last day I was alive as the old version of me. And by the time this episode airs, it'll probably be the 1 year to the day. And as a grieving mother who still is grieving, it never goes away and it never gets easier. And for Patricia to lose a son in a city like Las Vegas to a DUI, and still find resilience, or excuse me, to an accident. She lost her son in an accident, and it was, yeah, the driver was in 92 driving under the influence. 1992, think about how different Las Vegas was then. The probability of preventing it wasn't there, or maybe it was. But when you have something so tragic like that happen to you and the whole world stops, well, your whole world stops, but the world around you doesn't. The emotional and financial realities that happen are so much bigger than people realize. And as one thing I always like to share on Valley Views, that this will be a resource where anyone can come and share education because there were so many years where I asked for help or I asked for mentorship or I asked for guidance. And because I wasn't in the boys' club, it was never given to me. And for the handful of men that did help me along the way, I appreciate you. But it was the strong, resilient women who held me with tears in my eyes and told me, it'll be all right. And you're still beautiful. And don't give up. 73 episodes now, Valley Views. It's beautiful. And I'm grateful every day. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Talk soon.